The M4 iPad Pro failed. Here's why. So, I've been using the iPad Pro for the last month, and I do believe that this product ultimately failed. Yes, I don't think that the iPad Pro M4 changed the course of the iPad Pro lineup a bit. I do believe it still fits in the same scheme of upgrades of the last few years. The M1 iPad Pro, even the 2020 iPad Pro, the Mini LED iPad Pro, the M2 iPad Pro, all of these iPad Pros did not advance the iPad Pro lineup. No, they failed. And the same reasons apply for the M4 iPad Pro. I do believe that this iPad ultimately failed. But the reasons, well, are not the hardware upgrades anymore. Apple needs to fix iPadOS. iPadOS has ruined several generations of the iPad Pro lineup so far. And the M4 iPad Pro is no different. So, yes, if you want to find out ultimately why this iPad Pro failed, then drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel and watch this video until the end, because you might be surprised that although this iPad Pro failed, I still enjoy it. So, roll the intro. Yes, the M4 iPad Pro, I've been using it for the last month. And let me tell you, it's a love story with a hate relationship. It's weird. It's so bipolar, this iPad Pro, because in one side it's amazing, and on the other it's terrible. I might say that this is the best terrible Apple device I've ever bought, because it's so confusing. The M4 iPad Pro is perfect at almost everything that it's meant to do. But one thing, being a laptop. Yes, this device, being a workhorse, terrible, terrible. It does not have background multitasking, does not have a Files app, does not work reliably well with other softwares. So, yes, as for a work device, this is terrible. And the fault is iPadOS. iPadOS is not meant to be a workhorse software, even a work OS. It's more for a media consumption, normal day use OS. And I do believe that this is going to be replaced by the Apple Vision Pro. So, where does the iPad Pro line stand? Well, in a very weird place, because this was meant to be an hybrid between the MacBook Pro and the iPhone. But currently, this is a little bit more than a bigger iPhone, because the iPad Pro is good at iPhone things, not that great at MacBook things. And this means that if Apple does not change the course, the iPad lineup in general will die. Not the cheaper iPads, those will still have always a spot because they will be even cheaper. Kids like to play with them, well, kids like to watch movies with them. But in a few years, if Apple does not change anything on the Pro lineup, these iPad Pros will be completely obsolete. They do about the same things as the Apple Vision Pro. The Apple Vision Pro does it in a novel way and a better way, in my opinion. So, the iPad Pro, super immersive to watch shows, super portable, super lightweight, very, very thin. So, if you want to carry around this device, especially for travel, the perfect media consumption device. You can download Netflix shows, you can download Apple TV shows here. There's no constraints. This is almost like running iOS on a big display. That's true, running iOS on a big display, because iPadOS is not more than that, and anyone that tries to convince you otherwise is wrong. So, iPadOS is the biggest problem with the M4 iPad Pro. I've been saying this since the first day that I got it. I've been saying this for a while, and I was expecting that Apple would fix iPadOS 18, but they didn't. WWDC came and went, and iPadOS 18 was still terrible. Still the same junk software that we got before. So now we got a calculator app, cool. We got some new calculator AI solving problem with the Apple Pencil, cool. But where's the productivity features? Where are the window management features? Where is background multitasking? Where is a better Files app? Nowhere to be seen. And so this is the biggest main issue with the M4 iPad Pro, and the reason I think it ultimately failed in its mission to become a better iPad, to push the iPad frontline even forward, spear the edge of innovation in the iPad Pro lineup. But no, Apple innovated on the hardware, like always. And that's the reason that I don't give it the value that it actually deserves. The Mini LED display on the M1 was insane. Now this OLED display here, incredible. The tandem OLED display on the M4 iPad Pro is one of the best pieces of technology that I've ever used. The incredible thin chassis. The Apple Pencil Pro, it's also really, really cool with all its features. The Magic Keyboard is also great. The hardware on this iPad Pro is unmatchable. But the software is so behind that the limitations on the iPad Pro for Pro users were not on the hardware side. They are never on the hardware side with the iPad Pro. Since 2018, they never were on the hardware. I cannot think of one feature to add this iPad Pro that would actually increase my productivity with it. In terms of hardware, of course. Software, I have so many. And that's why I do believe that the M4 iPad Pro, the M2 iPad Pro, the 2020 iPad Pro, the M1 iPad Pro are not limited by their capacities, their chips, the RAM, not even the storage. No, it's iPadOS. And if Apple does not fix iPadOS in the next year or so, in the next 2 years, with the resurgence of the Apple Vision Pro, oh my God, the iPad Pro lineup, I do believe, will die. And so, the iPad Pro, together with all the other iPads, failed to keep the lineup alive. Yes, although they might be a great consumption device because they are very, very small, although they have an incredible display, all of these will be discarded because the Apple Vision Pro experience is so much more immersive, so much more playful, so much more fun, so much more different, and of course, so much more futuristic. So, the iPad Pro will die, like, if it does not do anything. If it does not transform into anything new, it will die. If it does not adapt, it will be destroyed. The Mac, we know what the Mac is. The Mac is a productivity-focused device. It's a work-focused device that Apple just loves. It's on its 4th year, and Apple just keeps innovating it with Apple Silicon, new features, things to do. Even iPhone mirroring on the last macOS was great. It's another feature for the macOS ecosystem. Amazing, love it. And then the iPhone. The iPhone is the perfect all-in device. It's a camera, it's a phone, it's an internet communication device, it's everything, just like Steve Jobs said. It replaces almost everything in your pocket. While the iPad Pro, what does it replace? What does it do? Well, it does the media consumption thing a bit better than the iPhone, but it does the work thing a lot worse than the Mac. So it's simply just a more portable version, a touchscreen version of that, of a MacBook Air with less power and a lot more limitations on the software side. So, yeah, so sad that the M4 iPad Pro did not get the software that it deserved. Such a great piece of hardware was completely unmatched by the software. Apple needs to fix this, unless the iPad Pro will disappear in a few years. And don't get me wrong, Face ID, tandem OLED display, the touch display even, are a lot of advantages that the iPad Pro has over the Mac. But are they enough to justify upgrading the Mac to an iPad over these hardware features? I don't think they are, because with Finder, with more software support, with real productivity, real features for a laptop, essential features for a computer even, the iPad Pro fails to deliver. And so, even if it has a more powerful CPU, like it has right now, the M4 chip, even if it has a touchscreen that is essentially better than the M3 MacBook Air's display, an LCD, this is an OLED, much better contrast ratio, much deeper blacks, much more rich colors, much more color accurate. Even with all of these advantages, even Face ID, which is in my opinion better than Touch ID, even all of these hardware differences are not enough to justify buying the iPad Pro over the M3 MacBook Air, even after all of these upgrades for the hardware side on the iPad. So that's the reason that I think that it failed, not being good enough on the software. iPadOS limited the iPad since 2018, it has been limiting it since then, and Apple does not seem to even care if they do fix it or not. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's the Apple's future for the iPad. Will they plan to kill it? Are they making it less useful for people to forget it? Or are they pushing it towards a niche so small that at the end of the day, is it even worth it to have and to sell? I don't know. The iPad Pro currently is the best product to buy for artists and drawers for the Apple Pencil. The iPad Air, the iPad Mini, even the normal iPad 11th generation, whatever it's called, I see the use case for that. Students love to take notes on their iPads. Even kids like to play on their iPads. But an iPad Pro? Why? Why would you buy it? Do you have extra cash laying around? Maybe. Do you want the best of the best hardware for the iPad lineup to watch movies and play games? Maybe. But this is not a laptop replacement. This failed to push the iPad to something different than it is right now. And so, in my opinion, did not innovate enough to make this iPad Pro worth it. Do not make enough to make this iPad Pro a computer. So, this is not a laptop replacement like I've been saying in all of my iPad Pro videos. This is a laptop alternative. And even so, it's not a good one. One thing that I need to mention in this video is that if you bought the iPad Pro currently and you love to use it, then do not take this video like an insult. No, I'm just trying to say what I feel about the iPad Pro. Again, like I told you, this is a love story and a hate relationship. I love to use the iPad Pro. This is my favorite everyday use device. To watch movies, to watch shows, to go to YouTube, to watch YouTube videos, even to draw, to study. I use the iPad Pro for almost everything. But whenever I want to do work, I put down the iPad and I get my Mac. That is over there. Can you see it? I get my Mac. I edit all my videos on the Mac, not on the iPad Pro. And the reason is, well, did you saw my last vlog, the iPhone 15 Pro Max Day in the Life video? Well, the first part of that video was edited on the iPad Pro, Final Cut Pro, the second version of Final Cut Pro. It was such an hassle, like it was really, really troublesome. It took me like 2 days to do the first round of the edit. And I was like, I'm done with it. I will export this file in an XML file for the iPad Pro to the Mac, all the library, all the contents, and I will finish the edit on the Mac. And I did. And so much better. In like 1 day, I did 3 times the work that I did on the iPad Pro in 2 days, which is just insane. My productivity went through the roof and I was like, I'm never going to edit again on the iPad Pro. The next day, I edited a YouTube short here. That's something that I actually find useful to use on the iPad Pro is editing shorts, reels on Final Cut Pro. Easy, reliable, you edit on portrait with the iPad Pro. It's really cool because you put the screen on portrait mode and it will be really easy to use. And the Mac, you have to edit portrait on horizontal screen. It's not as good, in my opinion at least. And so I do believe for TikTokers, for Instagrammers, people that like to use YouTube Shorts, this is actually a great choice to edit your videos, maybe edit your photos. So if you're not a professional, it's a casual thing, editing videos and photos. Even it's a casual thing working on your devices. Just like to watch movies. You do some email, you do some Canva work, you do some Photoshop, little work in there. You do a little bit of YouTube. You love to watch Netflix movies at night on your sofa, then the iPad Pro is the perfect device for you. It's a love story, you won't find any issues with it, and the M4 iPad Pro is truly the best device to do that. But the second that you try to work on it, real work, edit videos, even 3D rendering, even those types of works that require 2 app workflows, oh my god, you will regret your purchase that second. Because, I hate to say it, this is good, but it's not good enough, and it failed. That's why. So, let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think that the iPad Pro failed? Did you think that Apple was always thinking to make the iPad Pro this way, and we YouTubers are wrong, trying to push the iPad Pro to be a laptop? Let me know in the comments down below, because I do believe that this could be so much more. But currently, Apple doesn't want it to be. And so, it's almost like an identity crisis on the iPad Pro line. Is it good enough to be justified as a standalone device, to exist on the Apple lineup? Let me know all of that in the comments below. While you're there, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Bye bye.